What's up, everybody? This is Ben Lampkins with Anglers Edge Outdoors. In this video, I'm going to be showing you what I do with the new cast net to get the best performance out of it. So stick around. Alright guys, so you probably got yourself a new net. You pull it out of the box. And it's all stiff and springy like this. Braille lines are all stiff. And then you try to spread it out, it doesn't really even spread out much. So I'm going to show you a few things to get it to be a lot more pliable for you, and a couple other tips I like to do to get a net ready before I start throwing it. So all you're going to need is a pair of fingernail clippers or a small pair of scissors, a Sharpie, permanent marker of some sort, some fabric softener. This is a scent-free kind I like to use, and then preferably an insulated cooler of some sort, one that's big enough to hold whatever size net you got. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the fingernail clippers, and this is going to kind of depend on the brand of net you have, but some of these nets you want to find where the braille line ties to the lead line. That's that monofilament line that kind of comes through the net there. You're going to want to find where they tie it and look and see. Some of these nets will have that long piece of monofilament there after the knot. Those can actually cause your net to hang up a little bit. So you're going to want to go through each one of those braille lines and cut it back a bit. Then you won't have that piece sticking out because this is some heavy line here, and it can actually catch your net, keep it from throwing. So I'll go around the edges looking for those, clipping them back a little bit so they don't hang your net up. These are small little things you can do that really kind of make a difference. So I'll just go around clipping those off. Just make sure you don't cut the main line. Pay attention to what you're clipping there. Alright, then after I'm done with that, this is just something a little extra I like to do, is I'll take my marker. That kind of depends on what color your lead line is. Some of these are black, so it's a little harder to do, but this one will work. You'll take your permanent marker and just find where your braille line is tied to, and just kind of scribble on that lead line where that braille line ties to it. And that'll actually stay on there for a little while. You know, even after throwing it a lot, I still have my marks on them. So I'll go and mark every one of those around the net. I'll just keep marking where they tie off at. And the reason why I do that is if you throw a net enough, eventually you're going to get hung up and pull one of these braille lines loose. Either it'll come untied there, or your line will snap. It's bound to happen eventually. You want to try not to ever get hung up, but if it does happen and you're out in your boat and you want to get that line tied back on, you'll know exactly where it was at. You'll just have to find that permanent marker spot that's missing the braille line, then you'll know that's right where it needs to be tied. Because those braille lines are all spread out evenly in the net, so if it breaks off, it can be kind of a pain. You have to spread it all out and find where they're all spaced out at. So this kind of saves you that headache and time of knowing. I've had even some nets get stuck pretty bad and had to replace every one of the braille lines, and I had all that marked out, so I knew right where to go with my braille lines. So that's just a little tip I like to use to kind of keeps me organized on my braille lines. If I'm out and they break off, I know right where to go with them. So, all right, the last thing you're gonna want to do here is this is where a cooler comes in handy. I mean, you can use a bucket or anything, something that has a lid. If it's insulated, it's even better. So, but you'll just take your net and put it in your cooler there. take your fabric softener. It just kind of depends on what size net or cooler you got. Something like this, I'll put, I don't know, maybe, there's no exact measurement. I'll put a couple of cups in there. Go a little heavy with it. That fabric softener in that cooler. And then next what we're going to do, I'm going to take it up in the tub, and you're going to want to get the water as hot as you can get it in the faucet or tub or whatever you got, and fill this thing all the way up until that net's all the way underwater with that hot water. And you're going to want to keep that lid closed. That's, you want that heat to stay in there as long as possible. That's why insulated cooler works a little better, but the longer it sits in that hot water, the better it's going to work for you. So I'll just let it sit overnight in that hot water with that mixture of water softener, and then the next day this thing will be so much more pliable, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, well, it's the next morning here. I just want to show you the difference this makes. As you can see, look how much more limber and loose this net is. So much better. Now this net will open up for you much better when you go to throw it. So if you got a new net, or it doesn't really have to be new, if it's stiff on you and it doesn't want to open very well and it's hard to work with, if you do this, it'll definitely open for you a lot better. And then you'll have to repeat this throughout the season. This will last a little while, but if you notice it starts stiffing up on you after a few trips, you just repeat this and it'll get much softer for you again. So there you have it. That's just a couple tricks I like to use to get my nets to work better for me. Give it a try. Let me know in the comments what you think. See you on the next one.